Avadhuta Geeta, Chapter 2. Of the teacher, even if he be young, illiterate, or addicted to the enjoyment of sense objects, even if he be a servant or a householder, none of these should be considered. Does anyone shun a gem that has fallen in an impure place? In such a case, one should not consider even the quality of scholarship. A worldly person should recognize only the essence. Does not a boat, though devoid of beauty and vermilion paint, nevertheless ferry passengers? The unmoving one, who without effort possesses all that is movable and immovable, is consciousness, naturally calm like the sky. The unmoving one, who without effort possesses all that is movable and immovable, is consciousness, naturally calm like the sky. How can he, the one and all-pervading, who moves effortlessly all that is movable and immovable, be differentiated? To me, he is non-dual. I am verily supreme, since I am the Absolute, more essential than all essences, since I am free from birth and death, calm and undifferentiated. Thus I, free from all components, am worshipped by the gods, but being full and perfect, I do not recognize any distinctions such as gods and the like. Ignorance does not create any doubt. What shall I do, being endowed with modifications of mind? They arise and dissolve like bubbles in water. Thus am I ever pervading all existence, beginning with cosmic intelligence, pervading soft, hard, sweet, and pungent substances. As pungency, coldness, or softness is non-different from water, so Prakriti is non-different from Purusha. Thus it appears to me. The Lord of the universe is devoid of all names. He is subtler than the subtlest. Supreme, he is spotless, beyond the senses, mind, and intellect. By Lord, I mean the Self. Where there is such a natural being, how can there be I? How can there be even you? How can there be the world? That which has been described as being like ether is indeed like ether. That is consciousness, blameless, omniscient, and perfect. It does not move about on the earth or dwell in fire. It is not blown by the wind or covered by water. Space is pervaded by it, but it is not pervaded by anything. It is existing within and without. It is undivided and continuous. One should successively take recourse to the objects of concentration, as mentioned by the yogis, in accordance with their subtlety, invisibility, and attributeness. Levels of concentration. One should successively take recourse to the objects of concentration, as mentioned by the yogis, in accordance with their subtlety, invisibility, and attributelessness. Take etc. in order to attain to the Absolute or dissolution in the absolute, as is said in the next verse. One has to reach the state of infinite and undifferentiated consciousness by eliminating all mental differentiation or movements. The method of this elimination is to make consciousness dwell on one object continuously by obstructing its restless tendency to dwell on the multifarious objects. I repeat, the method of this elimination is to make consciousness dwell on one object continuously by obstructing its restless tendency to dwell on multifarious objects. But the object of concentration has to be chosen carefully. The beginner chooses a gross object. When he has dwelt on it continuously for some time, his consciousness becomes subtle and steady. He then chooses a subtle object to concentrate on. Gradually, he reaches a high state of concentration, but some differentiations in his consciousness still remain. There is the consciousness of himself as the concentrator of the object on which he is concentrating and of the process of concentration. In the next level, even these differentiations vanish. For the object of concentration dissolves and there remains only the pure, undifferentiated consciousness, the Absolute. When through constant practice, one's concentration becomes objectless, then being divested of merits and demerits, one attains the state of complete dissolution in the Absolute through the dissolution of the object of concentration, but not before then. For the destruction of the terrible poisonous universe, which produces the unconsciousness of delusion, there is but one infallible remedy, the nectar of naturalness. Unconsciousness, etc., delusion which makes one unconscious of the divine reality. Naturalness is the state of pure existence, divine identity. That which has form is visible to the eye, while the formless is perceived mentally. That beyond existence and non-existence is called intermediate. By intermediate, we mean neither material nor mental, that is beyond both. The external existence is the universe. The inner existence is called Prakriti. One should try to know that which is more interior than the inner existence. That which is like water within the kernel of coconut. Prakriti, in its subtle aspects, cosmic intelligence, cosmic mind, etc. I repeat, the external existence is the universe. The inner existence is called Prakriti. One should try to know that which is more interior than the inner existence, that which is like water within the kernel of the coconut. illusionary knowledge relates to what is outside, correct knowledge to what is inside. Try to know that which is more interior than the inside. Try to know that which is more interior than the inside, that which is like water within the kernel of coconut. There is only one very clear moon on the full moon night. One should pursue that, like the moon seeing duality is perversion. It is indeed in this way that intelligence becomes divided and ceases to be all-comprehending. A giver attains to the wisdom and is sung with millions of names. By divided, we mean perceiving many objects separated from one another. As in ordinary experience, intelligence should, if it is not clouded with ignorance, pursue only unity, the whole of reality at once. By divided, we mean perceiving many objects separated from one another, as in ordinary experience. Intelligence should, if it is not clouded with ignorance, pursue only unity, the whole of reality at once. Such perception, according to Vedanta, is the only true perception of reality. The second part of this verse, and as a matter of fact, the whole verse, is a little obscure. Our translation of second part is literal. The probable meaning is, when a person gives away all attachment, thereby attaining perfect renunciation, being free of all grasping, he attains the knowledge of self. The Sanskrit datta for the word giver also means teacher. Whoever, whether he be ignorant or learned, attains to the full awareness of truth through the grace of teacher's wisdom, becomes detached from the ocean of worldliness. Ignorant, meaning devoid of scholarship. He who is free from attachment and hatred, devoted to the good of all beings, fixed in knowledge and steady, shall attain to the supreme state. I repeat, he who is free from attachment and hatred, devoted to the good of all beings, fixed in knowledge and steady, shall attain to the supreme state. As the space within a pot dissolves in the universal space when the pot is broken, so a yogi, in the absence of body, dissolves into the Supreme Self, which is his true being. Important. As the space within a pot dissolves in the universal space when the pot is broken, so a yogi, in the absence of body, dissolves into the Supreme Self, which is his true being. It has been said that the destiny of those devoted to action is the same as their thought at the end. But it has not been said that the destiny of those established in yoga is same as their thought at the end. By end, we mean the dying moment. The belief in India, clearly expressed in Bhagavad Gita, is that the last thought in the mind of dying person indicates the nature of his future existence. This is not true, however, of the one who has attained to the knowledge of self. One may express the destiny of those devoted to action with the organ of speech, but the destiny of yogis can never be expressed because it is transcendental. Knowing this, one never says that the yogis have any particular path. For them, it is the giving up of all duality. The supreme attainment comes of itself. Departing souls reach their destined worlds, following either Pitriyana, the path of fathers, or Devayana, the path of the gods. The yogi, after death, does not travel along any path, having already attained the highest, which has nothing to do with any particular place or time. All duality is ever present, eternal and absolute, so cannot be spoken of in terms of relative existence or relative truth. When the sense of duality is destroyed, this truth at once reveals itself, even as the sun is seen shining when clouds disperse. I repeat, when the sense of duality is destroyed, this truth at once reveals itself, even as the sun is seen shining when clouds disperse. The yogi, having died anywhere, in a holy place, or in the house of an untouchable, does not see the mother's womb again. He is dissolved in the Supreme Brahma. He who has seen his true self, which is innate, unborn, and incomprehensible, does not, if anything desired happens to him, becomes tainted. Being free from taint, he never performs any action. The man of self-restraint or the aesthetic, therefore, is never bound. He attains to the Supreme Self, who is eternal, pure, fearless, formless, and supportless, who is without body, without desire, beyond the pairs of opposite, free from illusion, and of undiminished power. He attains to the Supreme, external Self, in whom exists no Veda, no initiation, no tonsure, no teacher, no disciple, no perfection of symbolic figures, no hand posture or anything else. He attains to the Supreme Eternal Self, in whom is neither Shambhavi, nor Shakti, nor Anavi initiation, neither a spear, nor an image, nor a foot, nor anything else, neither beginning nor ending, nor a jar. By Shambhavi, we mean Tantrika texts speak of three kinds of initiation. Shambhavi initiation, which is very rare, is that in which the teacher, by a mere word, look, touch, or by will, imparts the highest knowledge of God to the disciple instantly. Shakti initiation is that in which the teacher instills into the disciple a great spiritual power which will of itself within a reasonable time bring about the disciple's spiritual emancipation. The disciple does not have to exert himself for this realization. Such initiation also is exceptional. Anavi or mantri initiation is that in which the teacher on an auspicious day instructs the disciple concerning the method of spiritual practice he should follow, gives him a word or a phrase or a mantra to repeat, and offers other necessary instructions. The disciple must practice according to these instructions to gain spiritual knowledge. Spear, a round symbol made of stone, etc. Sometimes either an image of a foot or a footprint is used as a symbol of worship. Sometimes a jar filled with water is used as a symbol of all-pervading divinity. He attains to the supreme eternal self, from whose essence the universe of movable and immovable objects is born, in whom it rests and into whom it dissolves, even as foam and bubbles are born out of transformation of water. He attains to the supreme eternal self, from whose essence the universe of movable and immovable objects is born, in whom it rests and into whom it dissolves, even as foam and bubbles are born out of transformation of water. He attains to the supreme eternal self, in whom is no closing of nostril, nor gazing, nor posture, and in whom is neither knowledge, nor ignorance, nor any nerve current. He attains to the supreme eternal self, who is devoid of manifoldness, oneness, many and oneness, and otherness, who is devoid of minuteness, length, largeness, and nothingness, who is devoid of knowledge, knowableness, and sameness. He attains the supreme eternal self, whether he has perfect self-control or not, whether he has withdrawn his senses well or not, whether he has gone beyond activity or is active. He attains the supreme eternal self, who is not mind, intelligence, body, senses, or egoism, who is neither the subtle elements, nor the five gross elements, nor of the nature of space. When injunctions cease and the yogi attains to the Supreme Self, his mind being void of differentiations, he has neither purity nor impurity. His contemplation is without distinguishing attributes, and even what is usually prohibited is permissible to him. By injunctions, we mean prescriptions given by the scriptures to a spiritual aspirant in regard to what he should practice. The yogi who has attained to the highest is beyond the need of such prescriptions. Realizing himself as absolute, he may act in even an apparently evil way, just as God does some apparently evil things in His creation. Where mind and speech can utter nothing, how can there be instruction by a teacher? To the teacher, ever united with Brahman, who has said these words, the homogeneous truth shines out.